Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lauren and this video is all about celebrating Halloween. It is Thursday and I am very excited to start my second Halloween weekend vlog. This year I'm going to be going to some really fun destinations and places. I'm going to be reading some Halloween books. I'm going to be watching some Halloween movies. So if you're into that kind of thing, stick around. On deck for this evening is the Winchester Mystery House Unhinged event. Last year it was kind of like this creepy carnival circus vibe, and this year I think it's like 1920s, that kind of thing. Very like Prohibition era. So I'm all dressed up, ready to go. All I need is my witch hat because I'm going as a witch. You're supposed to dress up in costume. I mean, you can if you want to. It's kind of my go-to costume. Let me know what your go-to is. So I'm just waiting for my partner to wrap up getting ready and then we'll head on out. Are you ready yet, Tom?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's go. We'll see you there. You know what, I just realized that I'm gonna have to take down all of my decor for Halloween in just 1 week. We decorate for Christmas around here, so there'll be something else to Halloweenify. Anywho, I've been home for a few hours after a long day at work. It is Friday, which is always a more relaxed evening. I got the mail. I got so much happy mail. It was just wonderful to see people send me mail for Halloween. Kelsey from Simon Slasher, she has a Patreon that I am a patron for. She organized a like corn card exchange and it was just, oh, so magical. It was like a little Halloween hug to my heart. Amy sent me a book and Kelsey sent this like amazing, extravagant goodie bag of so many awesome things. I'm so touched that people sent stuff to me. It was just so unexpected and so very kind. Tonight is gonna be a bit more mellow than yesterday, and I just wanna rave a little bit about that experience at the Winchester Mystery House. So the whole idea of this event is kind of to create a haunted house experience at the Winchester Mystery House, which has a whole lot of lore and, you know, haunted talk associated with it. Whether or not you believe it is really up to the person, but you can't deny the fact that it is a very historical site. I also went to this event last year. It had a very different theme. It had a very different setup. This year, I feel like I enjoyed far more. We actually did something a little different that I think might have made the experience a little more enjoyable, where we got the VIP tickets, which they called RIP. It was just so cute. We had like these lanyards that we had around our necks, and it gave us access to the second path through the house. We also got these complimentary t-shirts right here, which is factored into like the price of our ticket. We got like a free drink. So that was really fun, and I think really made the experience all the more special. They had storytellers that were paid actors who opened up the event, and they were there for you when you kind of came into the courtyard. They were engaging with you. Like, they were so themed to the 1920s Prohibition era in terms of how they talked, what they said, their clothing. Like, they had like little dance performances to start off the evening. Like, it was just a whole lot of fun. It was a vibe. Like, it was a vibe setter. And then I'm not too sure if we saw the same people inside of the Winchester house when we went through the little paths for like the actual haunted house experience, but they, you know, were very convincing in terms of being those same characters. Each of the paths through the house were very different. They had different rooms, different vignettes, and they had different storylines too. They were simple storylines, but they were very interesting. And I'm the kind of person that does not have the heart or the bravery for haunted houses. I wish I was, because it sounds a whole lot of fun, but I can barely get through horror movies sometimes. But I do love a good story. I love a narrative. I love vignettes. I love just like atmosphere. And I think that really was the perfect balance for me. The stories really stuck with the theme, and throughout they were kind of giving you little pieces of the story, kind of like a prologue with like the courtyard, and then as you're kind of getting introductions on the rules for going into the house, they kind of gave you little pieces of the puzzle, and then you go into the house, you experience everything, and then you have some stuff as you're making your way out of the house that like you're no longer in the house. You're outside of it. There are still some people who are coming out and like kind of scaring you, like this like little cornfield moment. It was just, I think, really well put together. I think they focused a lot more on the inside house experience. And unexpectedly, there was this fantastic Halloween museum that if you are a, you know, retro lover, you love the nostalgia, you love Halloween, you would have like died. Your head would have blown up when you walked walked into that museum, it was small, but it packed in so much in there. You had books, you have movies, and it made me really happy because there are some things from my childhood that I had not recalled and thought about in like over a decade. Also thinking about other vibe setters. Yesterday I finished Benny Rose and the Cannibal King, which is available within your KU subscription. It is written by Haley Piper, and I really enjoyed this one. I don't think it's like my favorite within the Rewind or Die series, but I did find it fun. Like I didn't at any point in time want to like stop reading, but I did feel like it had too much of like the clown in a cornfield premise about like the older and younger generational tension, but I don't think they like executed it in a way that I really enjoyed. But my issue with the book, I think, is that it did not give us enough information about the character itself, like the villain here. I feel like I wanted to know a little bit more. I don't really feel like I understood the ending and how things concluded. Who really won this battle? What happened to the villain? What were there any consequences for the youth? Like all these things I'm like confused about and would have loved to have known, especially since I was so invested in the journey of that main character. But moving on to another Halloween themed book, because that one does take place on Halloween and there's a lot of folklore that is associated with the Halloween night and that specific character, Benny Rose. This one also I think is dealing with another villain associated with Halloween night, and this is All Hallows by Christopher Golden. I see a lot of people on BookTube talking about this book being thematically close, or at least like atmospherically close to Trick or Treat, the movie. But then I hear a lot of people who are like, no, it's like a poor man's version of that movie. I'm excited to make my own conclusions. I'm gonna adjust my expectations accordingly. I just think I want Halloween vibes. Like that's the whole point of this horror reader reading books in the month of October. Just, give me the fall setting, give me some trick-or-treating, give me some good folklore, give me some scared kids, and I will be a happy camper. Tonight though, I think our plan is to do some pumpkin carving and watch a movie. We have a bottle over there that we've been saving for like 2 months. It is the Dracula wine. 19 Crimes came out with a small series of like Halloween wines. On the label, I got the Dracula one, and then also there's like a Frankenstein one too. They're like really cool colors. While we were drinking our 19 Crimes Dracula wine and carving up some pumpkins, I thought it would be super, super fun for me and my boyfriend to watch The Blob featuring Steve McQueen. We're finally gonna watch the movie. I feel like I've seen pieces of it growing up since my family is like really into that time period of movies. So a good creature feature to keep these Halloween vibes going. Hello, it is Sunday, October 29th. Yesterday was very mellow, so I didn't do much of a check-in. I just kind of like relaxed, vegged a bit. I read a lot of All Hallows, and then I spent the majority of the evening at a friend's wedding ceremony, so shout out to Marissa and Jesse, congratulations. And today was kind of the same, except I did quite a bit of chores, and I was listening to a short story collection by one author. Pulling that up right now. I found it on Audible, and it's also available on KU with your subscription for free. It is by Ronald Kelly. It's called The Halloween Store and Other Tales of All Hallows Eve. So I was listening to that on Audible as I was just basically deep cleaning my apartment. It really needed it. It is a very short story collection, and I loved the majority of them. I was a little turned off by the intro a little bit, just because he was talking about like how he created it in 2020 and how he was like not wanting to touch on anything that was like topical. And it kind of was a bit dismissive to a lot of the really important social and political stuff that was happening during that time period. But I think he just like wanted to preface the whole collection with the fact that like it is going to be all about escapism into the past of how he celebrated Halloween, and obviously adding like fictional elements to that, but all the elements were there. And I loved his essays at the end where he kind of listed all of his favorite Halloween stuff from the past, as well as like detailing his last experiences in an essay of being like on the cusp of no longer socially acceptable to celebrate Halloween, and what that last Halloween was like for him. Other than that, I'm trying to think. Oh, I did have more Happy Mail come today. I had an unboxing for the monthly subscription I get from Not Your Average Babe Co., which is like an all year round Halloween and horror clothing store. And they had the Casper themed box come in, and I was so happy to have it since it was very delayed in getting to me. And I opened it up and I had some really fun goodies. I got like a little beanie, I got a keychain. It always comes with like a little sticker. I got this Casper sweater shirt. It's kind of like in between a sweater and a shirt, like a crew neck. It's really cute, love it. Recently watched Casper and still love it so much as an adult. It's not sponsored, I'm not sponsored by them at all. I just really love their boxes, and it is something that always brings me lots of joy when they come in the mail. And my new little Casper sweater shirt thingamajig I'm gonna be wearing tonight. I'm getting ready right now to go to one of our favorite arcade bars that has craft cocktails, and they have a fantastic Halloween overlay right now. If you saw my Halloween vlog last year, I think it was my Hocus Pocus one, I'll link it down in the description. You could see what they had in terms of drinks and decor at this bar last year. So we're going in tonight because it's kind of a little tradition. Couldn't be more excited. I saw their menu online. They have all the images and descriptions, and there's just like, there's so many great options. I don't know how I'm gonna choose and not like drink them all. So we're gonna get dinner there because they also have food. Oh my gosh, I am so tired. It is way past my bedtime. The majority of my day was obviously spent at work, but I was able to fit in a really fun watch party hosted by Kelsey from Slime & Slashers. Her Patreon had a little watch party for Hellraiser, which I've never in my life seen, but I have always come across Pinhead and that little box too, like that puzzle box. I've always been really curious about what that was all about. So I learned, I got educated on all of that. What a freaking journey that movie was. I for sure want to read the novella that is like the sourcing material for the movie. I don't think it's like a direct adaptation. I think from what I hear, it's like a little bit different. And it is gory, it is weird, the effects are so amazing. They really do stand up. I think it is very telling that I totally forgot up to this point to tell you that I finished All Hallows by Christopher Golden earlier this morning. Yeah, that book wasn't for me. People have been talking about it being similar to like Trick or Treat. I didn't see that at all. It's not like I want to not recommend this book because I do feel like there is an audience for it. I just don't really feel like I would have liked to have read it. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it was too, as Katrina said on Sprints earlier this weekend, it's too melodramatic. I don't think it has enough horror. I don't really feel like the actual folklore character that you're supposed to really get to know and see as like a big part of the story, this cunning man, it just felt like they came and went. Like the vibes are there for fall, but if you want anything that really utilizes well that supernatural element, the folk horror aspects that you know, the book summary advertise, I think you're going to be disappointed, because I definitely was. At the same time, I started a physical book. So when I was taking some breaks from my chores around my apartment, I was also reading Mina and the Undead by Amy McCaw. She also has a YouTube channel. I'll leave her information down in the description box. You should definitely check out her channel because she's so awesome. She hosts a lot of sprints, and she also loves YA, which is something I've been really into this past year. This book is a sequel, so I won't talk too much about the plot. It has similar characters, and I've been really enjoying it. I'm only like 56-ish pages into it so far because I've just been kind of like tired today. I'm probably just gonna read a little bit more and then head to bed, but tomorrow is Tuesday. It's October 31! I am about like over 100 pages. Yeah, I'm on page 121. Again, I don't really feel like I'm going to be finishing this by the end of tonight, since I am going to be seeing Five Nights at Freddy's with my boyfriend in the theaters. It's also streaming online on like Peacock or something. This book is giving me the Halloween vibes that I want. It is supposed to be a mystery, not necessarily a horror, but it is, I think, more like fantasy because it does have vampires in it. I won't say too much about the plot since this is a sequel, but something I loved about this book and also the first one in the series is that it just gives you lots of like slice of life in the 90s from the perspective of a young girl that loves horror, that loves Halloween, and then you also have the mystery element that's been building up. I always feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself to make Halloween, October 31st, like this really special day, and I think putting pressure like that, whether it be like a birthday, wedding, whatever, is a recipe for disaster. So I'm just trying to be mindful tonight that it does not have to be like chock full of things. So with that being said, I think I just want to set the intention tonight to just be relaxed and cozy and making sure that I find joy in what I'm reading and what I'm watching, because I do know that Five Nights at Freddy's that I'm going to be seeing in a few hours is not getting the best reviews. There's some issues people are taking with the movie. I haven't watched or read any of these reviews. I was able to quickly get through the graphic novel adaptation of the first novel, which I believe is either YA or middle grade. I don't remember which one. It's called The Silver Eyes. I found that to be enjoyable. I don't think it was anything special, and I think it had to do with the fact that like I didn't connect with it as much because it is part one of like many books in a larger series. And I feel like the ending was a little bit like, you know, disappointing. I am enjoying Halloweekend sprints. Kelsey's on, obviously Lexi, Monica, and I'm just getting to Mina and the Slayers, and it is giving me the vibes that I want. It is so atmospheric, and it is everything I need on this Halloween evening. Sadly, it is November 2nd. Cue the post-Halloween blues. But on a happier note, I did find my first and only 5-star read in this vlog. That is Mina and the Slayers by Amy McCaw. This book was 400 pages of the perfect Halloween atmosphere. If you love mysteries, you will probably really love this book. I don't care for mystery. It's really not a genre that's on my radar right now, and I still really loved it. So I'm trying to think about what makes this book and this world really special. I think it just has to be that Mina is a character who is fiercely loyal to the people around her that she trusts, and that they also feel really invested in her success and her safety as well. And although their friend group is often infiltrated by some devious people, I never really see things coming, and I'm the kind of person who likes to think that they're on the right track at what's really going on behind the scenes and who's like the villain and how things are going to end. But this one especially kept me on my toes. Like the last 100 pages, so much was jam-packed in there. So many things were happening, so many twists. Some of the battle scenes too, like the action, wow, like it was written in a way that was very clear, but I just really felt like this book went there. Like some people don't make it through the end of this book, and I thought that was like vicious, but you know, surprising and very enjoyable ultimately. I could rave about this book all day. Just give it a shot if it is even remotely something that you might like. I also wanted to make sure I shared my thoughts on watching Five Nights at Freddy's in theaters on Halloween. I don't think it's something that I will rewatch again or seek out more content from, whether graphic novels, books, or the video game. I just don't really feel like it might be the right time for me to go down that rabbit hole into that whole franchise. But I did feel like the acting was really good and I connected with the emotional story. I just didn't really feel like it got me excited, but it was overall just a general like 3-star movie for me. I know my fellow Halloween lovers out there are trying to pick ourselves up off the ground of having all the fun we did this past Halloween season. But you know, Halloween is something that always lives in the heart, you know, these autumn souls of ours. So I think finding Halloween in every season and every opportunity is and has been the whole goal of this channel. I don't always live my life in Halloween mode. Just the pieces you see on this channel are my way of finding, you know, fun in life, because you know, the older you get, the more you realize life is truly what you make it. So through this journey this past Halloween season, thank you for helping me make life so much more enjoyable, relishing the little things, curating our spaces, so the things we do have control of in this wild, messy life and society, there's something at least that we feel like we've been able to create, and that has been a whole lot of Halloween magic here. So I wish I could give you a huge hug. Thank you so much for being here with me during the entirety of this Halloween season. Let me know down in the comments what's one thing, big or small, that brought you joy this past Halloween. If you're interested in hearing all of the Halloween movies I got to this past month that I did not mention in this vlog, definitely check out this video right here for atmospheric movies that have Halloween settings. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!